In this video, we will be solving May-June 2018 paper 2. So let's start with the first question, and it says, write down a prime number between 20 and 30. So here let's recall that prime numbers are numbers that are only divisible by 1 and itself. So 20 is divisible by 2, so it's not a prime number. 21 is divisible by 3, 22 is divisible by 2, 23 is only divisible by 1 and itself, so the first prime number is 23, and 24 is divisible by 2, by 6, by 4, 25 is divisible by 5, 26 is divisible by 2, 27 is divisible by 3, 28 is divisible by 2, and finally 29 is only divisible by 1 and itself, so 29 is a prime number. 30 is not a prime number because it is divisible by 2. So the only two prime numbers are 23 and 29. In the second question, it says write 0.0000387 in standard form. So let's recall that the general form is a times 10 to the power of n, where a is any value or any number that is greater than or equal to 1 and less than 10. So I'm going to write this number as 3.87 times 10 to the power of a number. So 3.87, the decimal point is just to the right of the number 3. So it's over here. So I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to move 5 places to the left. So since I'm moving to the left, the sign will be negative, and the number of places is 5, so it is negative 5. Now let's solve the third question. It says write the recurring decimal 0.63 as a fraction. So to convert a recurring decimal number to a fraction, just follow these simple steps. So first, I'm going to assume that x is equal to 0.636363. So this is my recurring decimal number. I'm going to multiply this by 100. So I will get 100x is equal to 100 times 0.636363 is equal to 63.6363. Now, I'm going to subtract x equals 0.636363 from 100x equals 63.6363. So I'm subtracting here x equals 0.6363. So 100x minus x is equal to 99x, and 63.6363 minus 0.6363, the 0.6363 will cancel out, so I will be left with 63. So 99x is equal to 63. So I will divide 99x by 99 and 63 by 99. So x is equal to 63 over 99, which is equivalent to 7 over 11. So the final answer is 7 over 11. Now in question 4, I have to find the value of 7x plus 3y when x is 12 and y is negative 6. So simply I have to substitute x equals 12 and y equals to negative 6 into the expression 7x plus 3y. So 7x is 7 times 12 plus 3 times y, which is negative 6. So 7 times 12 is 84, and I have plus 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. So 84 minus 18, the answer is 66. So in question 4, the final answer is 66. Now, let's move to question 5. So it says the diagram shows two parallel lines, PAQ and SBCT. AB equals AC and angle QAC is 43. So I have to find the value of x. Now, in this question, now since PAQ, so the two lines PAQ and SBCT are two parallel lines, and since QAC is equal to 43 degrees, the angle at C over here is equal to 43 degrees as well, because they are both alternate angles. Now, since AB is equal to AC, triangle ABC is an isosceles triangle. And when I have an isosceles triangle, the two adjacent angles are equal. So since C is 43 degrees, then the angle at B is 43 degrees. Now how can I find x? I know that for any triangle, the summation of all interior angles is equal to 180 degrees. So x plus 43 times 2 is equal to 180. So x is equal to 180 minus 43 times 2. And the answer is equal to 94 degrees. So the value of x in question 5 is 94 degrees. Great. Now let's solve question 6, and it's very simple. It says calculate the area of a circle with radius 5.1 centimeters. So for any circle, the area is A is equal to pi r squared. So I have pi times r squared, and r here is 5.1. So 5 times, or pi times 5.1 squared, and the answer is 81.7128. So if I want to round up to 3 significant figures, the answer is 81.7 centimeters squared. So the final answer is 81.7. Now, in question 7, so it says calculate the length of AC. So I'm given triangle ABC, and this is a right angle triangle because one of the angles is 90 degrees. I'm given the length of AB, which is equal to 2.5 centimeters, and I'm given the length of BC, which is equal to 4.1 centimeters. And I have to find the length of AC. So since the side AC is the side that is opposite to my 90-degree angle, then this is the hypotenuse. So how can I find the hypotenuse, which is AC? So I'm going to apply Pythagoras theorem, which states that AC squared is equal to 2.5 squared plus 4.1 squared. So AC is equal to the square root of 2.5 squared plus 4.1 squared, and the answer is 4.802. So to three significant figures, the final answer is 4.8. So AC is 4.8 centimeters. Now in question 8, it says expand and simplify 6 times 2y minus 3 minus 5 times y plus 1. Yeah, that's it. So here I have to multiply first 6 times 2y. So 6 times 2y is equal to 12y. 6 times negative 3 is equal to negative 18. Minus 5 times y is negative 5y, and minus 5 times plus 1 or positive 1 is equal to negative 5. So I'm going to collect like terms. So 12y minus 5y is equal to 7y, and negative 18 negative 5 is equal to negative 23. So the final answer is 7y minus 23. Now in question 9, I have 3 to the power of negative q times 1 over 27 equals 81. I have to find the value of q. So this is an indices question, and in order to find the value of negative q or the value of q, I have to make the bases equal. So I have 3 to the power of negative q times 1 over 27. So 1 over 27 is equivalent to 1 over 3 cubed is equal to 81. 81 is equivalent to 3 to the power of 4. So 3 to the power of negative q times. So here I'm going to move 3 cubed to the numerator. So it becomes 3 to the power of negative 3 equals 3 to the power of 4. So 3 to the power of negative q times 3 to the power of negative 3. So since I have, since the operation here is multiplication, so I can add the powers. So 3 to the power of negative q plus minus 3, which is minus 3, is equal to 3 to the power of 4. So now, since the bases are equal, both are equal to 3, I can equate the powers. So negative q, negative 3 is equal to 4. So I'm moving negative q here and 4 here. So I will get Q equals -3, -4, and the final answer is -7. So Q is equal to -7. Now, in question 10, part A, it says calculate the square root of 2.38 plus 6.4 squared, writing down your full calculator display. So here I just have to put on the calculator the square root of 2.38 plus 6.4 squared, and the answer is 6.583312236. So 12236. So I just write down the full answer that was displayed on the calculator. In part B, I have to write my answer in part A correct to 4 decimal places, so it's just a matter of rounding up. So the answer is 6.5833. Great. So let's move to question 11, and it says find the exact value of 8 to the power of 2 over 3 times 49 to the power of -half. Now 8 to the power of 2 over 3 is equal to the cubic root of 8, all of it squared. So the cubic root of 8 is 2, so 2 squared is equal to 4. And 49 to the power of -half is equivalent to 1 over 49 to the power of half. So it's equal to 1 over the square root of 49, which is equal to 1 over 7. So 8 to the power of 2 over 3 is equal to 4 times 49 to the power of -half is 1 over 7. So the final answer is 4 over 7. Now, in question 12, I have to solve the inequality 3n minus 5 is greater than 17 plus 8n. So here, I want to subtract 8n from here and 8n from here. So 8n minus 8n will cancel out, and I have 3n minus 8n is -5n. -5 is greater than 17. So to keep n on one side and all other numbers, or all the numbers on the other side, I will add 5 on both sides. So -5n is greater than 17 plus 5, which is equal to 22. So I will divide by -5 and here by -5. And whenever I divide or multiply, so here I'm dividing, so whenever I'm dividing an inequality by a negative number, I should or I must flip the inequality sign. So n becomes, so instead of n greater than, it becomes n less than -22 over 5. So the final answer is n less than -22 divided by 5. Now, let's solve question 13. And it says, without using your calculator, so it's written in bold, work out 1 and 3 over 4 times 6 over 35. you must show all your working and give your answer as a fraction in its simplest form. Now, 1 and 3 over 4 is equal to 4 times 1 plus 3 over 4, which is equal to 7 over 4. And 7 over 4 times 6 over 35 is equal to, so if I divide 7 by 7, the answer is 1, and 35 by 7, it's 5. 6 over 2 is 3, and 4 over 2 is 2. So I will get 1 times 3 is 3 over 10. So this is the final answer. So the final answer is 3 over 10. Now, in question 14, I'm given this triangle and I have to find angle ABC. So it says use the sine rule to find angle ABC. So the sine rule states that sine of 84.6 over the length of the opposite side to that angle, which is 17.8, is equal to sine of B, the angle that I want to find, over 5.9. So sine B is equal to, I will cross multiply, or I will multiply 5.9 times the numerator, sine 84.6. So 5.9 sine 84.6 divided by 17.8. So what's B? B is the sine inverse of 5.9 times sine 84.6 over 17.8. So the final answer is equal to 19.268. So this is equal to 19.3 degrees. So the answer to this question is 19.3, correct to 1 decimal place. Now, in question 15, it says y is directly proportional to x minus 1 squared. When x is 5, y is 4, find y when x is 7. Now, since this is a direct proportion question, y is equal to k times x minus 1, all of it squared. So now I just substitute x equals 5 and y equals 4 into this equation. So when y is 4, I have k times x minus 1 squared. So x is 5, so 5 minus 1 is 4 squared. So k is equal to 4 divided by 4 squared, which is 16. So the final answer is 1 over 4. So now I will rewrite my equation as y equals 1 over 4 times x minus 1 squared. I have to find y when x is 7, so simply I will substitute x equals 7 into the equation. So I have y equals 1 over 4 times 7 minus 1 squared. So it's equal to 1 over 4 times 7 minus 1 is 6, so 6 squared is 36. So 36 times 1 over 4, the answer is 9. So y is equal to 9. Now, in question 16, so I'm given this shape and it says on the grid draw the image of shape R after transformation represented by the matrix 0, 1, negative 1 and 0. So here to find the image of the shape R, first I want to find the coordinates of the corner points of the shape R. So the coordinates are, the first one is 2, 1. The second one is 4, 1. The third one is 1, negative 1. And the fourth one is 4 and negative 1. So 4 and negative 1. So I'm going to write the coordinates of the corner points as a matrix. So I have 2, 1. So 2, 1. 4, 1. 4, negative 1. And 1, negative 1. So this is my matrix, and I will multiply that matrix by the matrix that's given to me, which is 0, 1, and negative 1 and 0. So here, to perform this operation, so it's 0, 1, negative 1, 0. So the first matrix times the second matrix. So as you know, when I want to multiply matrices, I multiply the first row by the first column, then the first row by the second column, then the third row, then the first row by the third column, and then by the fourth column. Then I go down to the second row and I multiply it by the first, second, third, and fourth columns. So here 0 times 2. So I'm going to multiply the first row by the first column. So 0 times 2 is 0, and negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Then I'm going to multiply the first row again by the second column. So 0 times 4 is 0, and negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Now, the first row times the third column, so 0 times 4 is 0, negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. And the first row times the fourth column, so 0 times 1 is 0, and negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. So I'm done with the first row, so I'm going to the second row. So I have 1 times 2 is 2, and 0 times 1 is 0, so the answer is 2. I multiplied here the second row by the first column. Now I will multiply the second row by the second column, so I will get 1 times 4 is 4, and 0 times 1 is 0, so the answer is 4. And I will continue doing the same, so I will get again here 4 and here 1. So these are the coordinates of my new points. So the first coordinate is negative 1 and 2. So this is it. The second one is negative 1 and 4. So this is it. The third one is 1, 4. So this is it. And the last one is 1, 1. So this is it. So now I can connect the points. So this is my first point. So this is the shape of the image of the original shape R. Now let's solve question 17. So in question 17, I'm given this graph, this speed time graph, and it shows information about the journey of a tram between two stations. So on the y-axis I have the speed, and on the x-axis I have the time. And in part A, it says calculate the distance between the two stations. So to find the distance, so for any speed time graph, the distance is the area under that graph. So the distance d is equal to the area of 1, the area of 2, and the area of 3. Now the area of 1 is equivalent to the area of the triangle, which is half times base times height. So it's half times the base is 10, times the height, which is 20. Plus, for the second area, the area here is equivalent to the area of a rectangle. So it is length times width. So the length here is 100 minus 10, which is 90, times the width, which is 20. And the last area, area 3, is the area of the triangle, which is half times the base. And the base here is 130 minus 100. So it's the difference between these 2 points, which is 30. So it's 30 times the height, which is 20. So now d is equal to half times 10 times 20, and the answer is 100, plus 90 times 20 is 1800, plus half times 30 times 20, and the answer is 300. So the final answer is 2,200. So it is 2,200 meters. Now, to find the average speed, so the average speed is equal to the total distance over the total time. So the total distance is the answer to my part A, so it's 2,200 over the total time, which is equal to 130. So 2,200 divided by 130, the answer is 16.99230. So to 3 significant figures, the answer is 16.9. So the final answer is 16.9 meters per second. So the average speed of the tram during the whole journey is 16.9 meters per second. Okay, now let's solve question 18. In this question, it says the cumulative frequency diagram shows information about the time m minutes taken by 120 students to complete some homework. So this is the graph, this is the cumulative frequency diagram, and in part A it says use that graph, so use the cumulative frequency diagram to find an estimate of the interquartile range. So I know that the IQR, which is, so the IQR is the interquartile range, it is Q3 minus Q1. Now Q3 is the upper quartile and Q1 is the lower quartile, as you all know. So to find the position of the upper quartile, so I know that Q3 is 75% of the total frequency. So it is 3 over 4 times the total frequency, and the total frequency, so back to the diagram, it is equal to, so the last point over here, so I go to the y-axis and I take a reading, so it's 120. So the total frequency is 120, so 3 over 4 times 120 the answer is 90. So I go to the y-axis. So this is the y-axis. So 90 is, so this is 82, 84, 89. So 90 is over here. Sorry. It's over here. So it's at this point, over here. So I go down to the x-axis and I take a reading, and the reading will be equal to 30. So this is the upper quartile. Now to find the position of the lower quartile, so the lower quartile Q1 is 25% of the total frequency, so it is 1 over 4 times 120, and the answer is 30. So I go to the diagram. So 30 is 22, 24, 26, so 30 is over here. So I go over here and I go down, so it is equal to 20. So the interquartile range is 30 minus 20. So it is the difference between these two, which is equal to 10. So the interquartile range is 10 minutes. Now in part B, I have to find the number of students who took more than 50 minutes to complete the homework. So more than 50 minutes, so this is 50. So anything that is to the left of 50 is the number of students that took them less than 50 minutes. So to find the number of students who took them more than 50 minutes, I have to consider the area that is to the right of 50. So here at 50 I will go up and take a reading. So it is over this point over here, so it's over here, and that point is 116. So 116 is the number of students that took them 50 minutes or less, because the readings on the y-axis are cumulative frequencies or frequency readings. So when the time is 50 minutes, the number of students, so when the time is 50 minutes or less, the number of students is 116. So to find the number of students that took them more than 50 minutes, I will subtract, so it's that part of the graph, so I will subtract the total number of students, which is 120, minus 116. So 116 is the number of students that took them 50 minutes or less to complete the homework. So the answer is 120 minus 116, so it's equal to 4. Now, let's solve question 19, and I'm given the triangle LNM, and I want to find the angle LMN. So it's that angle. Let me call it X. So since I'm given a triangle with 3 known sides, and I want to find an angle that is between the side NM and LM. So the only way is to use the cosine rule. So the cosine rule states that the side that is opposite to my angle in question, which is ln, so ln squared, so it's 14 squared, is equal to the square of 16 plus the square of 19 minus 2 times 19 times 16 times cosine x. So I will move all that to the left hand side, and I will move 14 squared to the right hand side. So I will get 2 times 19 times 16 cosine x is equal to 16 squared plus 19 squared minus 14 squared. So cosine x is equal to 16 squared plus 19 squared minus 14 squared divided by 2 times 19 times 16. So to find x, it is cosine inverse of, so 16 squared plus 19 squared minus 14 squared is 4 to 1. And 2 times 19 times 16 is 608. So cosine inverse of 421 over 608 is equal to 46.176. So to one decimal place, it's equal to 46.2 degrees. So in question 20, so let's start with question 20. In part A, it says a box contains 3 blue pens, 4 red pens, and 8 green pens only. A pen is chosen at random from the box. Find the probability that this pen is green. So P, which is the probability of getting a green pen, is the number of green pens, which is 8, over the total number of pens, which is 8 plus 4 plus 3, so it's equal to 15. So the probability is 8 divided by 15. Now in part B, it says another box contains 7 black pens and 8 orange pens only. 2 pens are chosen at random without replacement. So I'm choosing a pen and I'm keeping it outside, so I'm not putting it back into the box. Calculate the probability that at least one orange pen is chosen. So I can have, so at least one, so it could be one or more. So since I'm taking out 2 pens only, so I can have the first one to be an orange and the second one to be an orange, or I can have the first one to be an orange and the second one to be black, or I can have the first one to be black and the second one to be orange. So I have 3 different scenarios. So either the first pen is orange and the second pen is orange, or the first pen is orange and the second pen is black, or it could be the first pen is black and the second pen is orange. So for this one, so the probability of getting the first pen is orange is the number of orange pens, which is 8, over the total, which is 7 plus 8, 15, times, since I'm taking a pen and I'm not replacing it, so the number of orange pens will decrease by 1, and of course the total number of pens will decrease by 1 as well. Plus the second scenario, or the second combination. So the probability of getting an orange pen is 8 over 15 times the probability of getting a black pen. So is 7 over 14. So here the total number of pens decreased by 1, because again I'm taking a pen and I'm not replacing it. Plus the third combination, so the first pen is black, so it's 7 over the total, which is 15, times the probability of getting an orange pen. So the number of orange pens here is 8 divided by 14, because again I'm taking a pen and I'm not replacing it. So it's 8 over 15 times 7 over 14 plus 8 over 15 times 7 over 14, plus 7 over 15 times 8 over 14. So if I do this calculation, I will get an answer of 4 over 5. So the final answer in part B is equal to 4 over 5. Now in question 21. So in this question, I'm given this graph and it says there are 4 inequalities that define the region R. So one of these is y less than or equal to x plus 1. Find the other 3 inequalities. So for this line, so the equation of this line is y equals to, so this reading is 1.5 or 3 over 2. So the equation of this line is y equals 3 over 2. But since my region R is above that line, so y is greater than, now since the line is a solid line, so it's greater than or equal. And again, why it's greater than? Because the region R is above my line. Y equals 3 over 2, so it's y greater than or equal to 3 over 2. And the equal sign because the line is a solid line. Now, I'm left with 2 other inequalities. So, let's find the equation of this line over here. So to find the equation of this line, so I have to find first the gradient. So I have to pick 2 points. The first point is this point 0, 0, and the second point is this point, which is 4, 3. So 0, 0, and 4, 3. So m, which is the gradient, is y2 minus y1. So y2 is 3 and y1 is 0. So 3 minus 0 is 3 over x2 minus x1. Here x2 is 4 and x1 is 0. So the answer is 3 over 4. So y is equal to 3 over 4x plus c. Now to find c, I have to substitute either of the 2 points. So either 0, 0 or 4, 3. Now to make things easier, I'm going to substitute 0, 0. So I will get 0 equals 3 over 4 times 0 plus c. So this is 0, which means that c is 0. So the final equation is y equals 3 over 4x. So this is the final equation. Now, again, since R, the region R, is above that line, so the inequality is y is greater than and equal, and the equal sign is included because it is a solid line. So the second inequality is y is greater than or equal to 3 over 4x. So the first one is y is greater than or equal to 3 over 2. The second one is y is greater than or equal to 3 over 4x. Now I'm left with the third one. So let's try and find the equation of this line. So again, first, to find the equation, I need to find m, the gradient. So I'm picking this point, which is 0 on the x and 3 on the y, and this point over here, which is 6 on the x and 0 on the y. Now, the gradient m is y2 minus y1, which is 0 minus 3, over x2 minus x1, which is 6 minus 0, and the answer is negative 3 over 6, which is equal to negative half. Now, I will write the equation as y equals negative half x plus c. And to find c, I have to substitute either of the 2 points, so either 0, 3 or 6, 0. So I'm going to substitute 0, 3. So the y coordinate of this point is 3. So I have 3 equals negative half x, and x here is 0 plus c. So negative half times 0 is 0, so c is equal to 3. So y is equal to negative half x plus 3. Now, since the region R is below the dashed line, so y equals negative half x plus 3 is the equation of the dashed line. And since R is the region that is below that line, so y is less than. And now, since it is a dashed line, I'm not allowed to include the equal sign. So the answer is y less than negative half x plus 3. So whenever the line is a solid line, I include the equal sign, and whenever I have a dashed line, I exclude the equal sign. And another point is that I have to check whether my line is below or whether the region that I'm studying is below or above the line in question. So if it is below, then y becomes less than, and if it is above, then y becomes greater than. Now in question 22, I'm given two functions, f of x and g of x. So f of x is 5 minus 2x, and g of x is x squared plus 8. And in part A, I have to find f of negative 3. So f of negative 3 is equal to f of. So what's f of negative 3? So f of negative 3 is found by substituting x, which is equal to negative 3, into the function f of x. So it becomes 5 minus 2 times minus 3. So it is f of 5, and minus 2 times minus 3 is positive 6. So it's 5 plus 6, which is 11. Now, what's f of 11? So again, I substitute 11 into the function f of x. So I will get 5 minus 2 times 11. So it is 5 minus 22. And the answer is negative 17. Now in part B, I have to find g of 2 of x. So g of 2x, I will substitute 2x into the function g of x, so I will get 2x all of it squared plus 8. So the answer is 4x squared plus 8. And in part B double I want to find the inverse of the function f of x. Now f of x is equal to 5 minus 2x. So the first step is to replace f of x by y. So I have y equals 5 minus 2x. Then I have to manipulate my equation to make x the subject. So I'm moving y here and negative 2x over here. So I will get 2x equals 5 minus y. So to make x the subject, I will divide by 2 and here by 2. So x is equal to 5 minus y over 2. Now after making x the subject, the last step is to replace x by f inverse of x and y by x. So I have f inverse of x equals to 5 minus, so y, I replace it with x, so it becomes 5 minus x divided by 2. Now, let's solve question 23, and it says 40 people were asked how many times they visited the cinema in 1 month. The table shows the results. The number of cinema visits, so it's between 0 and 7, and I'm given the frequency of each visit. So in AI, I have to find the mode. So the mode is the number that belongs to the highest frequency. So the highest frequency is 7, so the mode here is 4. So the number of cinema visits is 4. Now to find the mean in part double I, so the mean, which is x bar, is given by summation of f of x over summation of f. So summation of f of x, I multiply each x value, which is the number of cinema visits, by its corresponding frequency value. I add them up together and I divide it by the summation of all the frequencies. So I start by multiplying 0 times 5 plus 1 times 5 plus 2 times 6 plus 3 times 6, so on until 7 times 2 over the summation of all frequencies, which is equal to 40. So I add 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 3, 6, 2. So all the frequencies together I get 40. So the answer is 128 divided by 40. So the answer is 3.2. So the mean in this question is 3.2. Now in part B, it says Omar wants to show the information from the table in a pie chart. Calculate the sector angle for the people who visited the cinema 5 times. So the number of people who visited the cinema 5 times is 3. So I have to convert this number into an angle. So to convert this number to an angle, I divide 3 by the total number of frequency, which is 40, and I multiply it by 360 degrees, which is the full turn angle. So I have to find how much this number 3 constitutes out of the total frequencies. So I divide 3 by 40, and to convert it to an angle, I multiply it by 360 degrees. So the answer is 27 degrees. So this is the final answer to part B. Now, in the last question of this video, which is question 24, in part A it says point A has coordinates 1, 0 and point B has coordinates 2, 5. And I have to find the angle between the line AB and the x-axis. So in this part, what's the rise? So the rise is the difference in the y values. So it's y2 minus y1, which is 5 minus 0, and the answer is 5. And I have to find the run, which is the difference between the x values, which is x2 minus x1. So 2 minus 1 is 1. So to represent what I just wrote on a diagram, so this is the run, which is equal to 1, and this is the rise, which is equal to 5. And I will connect these two lines. This is 90 degrees, and this is my angle, let me call it alpha. So to find the angle alpha between the line AB and the x-axis, so let's say this is A and this is B. So I'm going to use the tangent rule. So tan of alpha is equal to the opposite. So the opposite is the side that is opposite to my angle alpha, which is 5, over the adjacent, which is the side that is adjacent to my angle alpha, and it is equal to 1. So x is equal to tan inverse of 5, which is equal to 78.6900. So to one decimal place, the answer is 78.7 degrees. Now, in part B, it says the line PQ has equation y equals 3x minus 8, and point P has coordinates 6, 10. Find the equation of the line that passes through P and is perpendicular to PQ. I have to give my answer in the form y equals mx plus c. Now, as we all know, the gradient of PQ, so for PQ, m is equal to 3. Now, to find the gradient of the line that is perpendicular to PQ, it is the negative reciprocal. So m perpendicular is the negative reciprocal, so it is equal to negative 1 over 3. So the equation becomes y equals negative 1 over 3x plus c. Now to find c, I substitute the coordinates of p into the equation. So y here is 10, so 10 equals to negative 1 over 3 times 6 plus c. So 10 is equal to negative 1 over 3 times 6 is negative 2 plus c. So c is equal to 12. So y becomes negative 1 over 3x plus c, which is equal to 12. So that was the end of May-June 2018 paper 2 version 1.